Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is Friday morning, May 26th, 2023. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. We are standing alongside the Polderbaan, where it is interesting, to say the least. At the moment, officially still used for arrivals. Though this is the second aborted landing that I am seeing over here. Why is that? Because the wind is blowing with 14 knots from the northeast, so there is significant tailwind for the airplanes that are trying to land on this runway. I am expecting, this is still, I think, part of the overnight operation configuration. I am expecting that in a few minutes the runway configuration will change back to what it has been over the last week, namely departures from Polderbaan, from 36 left, probably also 36 center as a secondary runway, although I do see on flight radar that they are using it for arrivals at the moment instead of the Kaagbaan. So I think this is just a remnant of the overnight runway configuration using the Polderbaan for arrivals, but now that the wind has started to pick up and is 14 knots and is blowing from the northeast, typically around 20 past 9 a.m. local time they change configuration more to the right. Here you can see the smoke. It is blowing towards us. So at the moment we are in between in between runway usage, sort of. I don't see any more planes arriving for Polderbaan nearby. I don't see any airplanes taxiing this way yet on flight radar, but I am expecting that they will do that. I'm happy to see that also over here the grass has been cut, the lawn has been mowed, so it's no longer a major foot-high jungle over here. Hope everybody is doing well. Over here it is 11 degrees centigrade, so I'm standing in my parka, my winter jacket, although I am only wearing a t-shirt under my jacket. But it is 11 degrees centigrade or 52 degrees Fahrenheit approximately over here. The sun is starting to shine a little. Wind is blowing from the northeast, 14 knots or so. Definitely not a wind still day. So good morning photo for you, good morning Koenie, good morning Wilma if you're still around. Gosse, goedemorgen. Sander, goedemorgen. It is indeed an interesting runway usage this morning. Looking at the conversation in the live chat so far. Yeah, it is a typical Schiphol day in that respect. Goedemorgen Martin, goedemorgen Jip. Hey there Marius, goedemorgen. Bogdan, good morning, good to see you again. Hey Lotte, goedemorgen. Martin greeting us from the Schiphol once again. Gijsbers, Nitro Zeus, good morning. Jonor, good morning. Pilot Sander standing next to me. Good morning, mate. I was wondering who that guy was. No, excellent, excellent. So yeah, it is An interesting day. You can see that the so this airplane is approaching 36 center to land instead of 06. And to think that as I was setting up, a couple of airplanes were actually landing on the Polderbaan with tailwind. Hey there, Sadipoes, good morning. Eddie, good morning. Aaron, goedemorgen, good morning. Ina, guten Morgen, good morning. So Sadipoes, I am standing next to the Polderbaan, not at the official spotter's place, which is just behind the trees over here. You can just about make out the fence that people can stand next to or behind to see the runway, but this is a bit further down the cycling path. Hey there, Luca. Ciao. Come stai? Buongiorno. Kampask, good morning. Kampask says hello, hi ducks. Well, as a matter of fact, at the moment there aren't any ducks around. I don't see them. Maybe, or are those regular birds? No, they might be ducks or coots. They are very far out at least, so it's hard to see. Now, over here, quiet in the water, unfortunately. Hey there, Somil. Dave A010, good morning. So I am checking flight radar, filtering on both inbound and outbound traffic, just to see if maybe something is coming this way, but I don't see anything at the moment. Let me also have a look on the runway usage app. Well, it says that 18 right and Kaagbaan are still open. At the moment, landing traffic is going to Kaagbaan again, 06. So that seems to be in order. Buitenvelderbaan, runway 09 now in use for departures, which is interesting. Photo for you says Polder changed to starts, which makes sense. As the wind has been blowing from the northeast all week now, and all week Polderbaan has been used for departures. Let me once again try to see if maybe enabling image stabilizer reduces the wind-induced vibrations somewhat. It's not perfect. I do have two settings, standard and dynamic. This is standard. This is dynamic. Seems more shaky than standard. Back to standard it is. Oh, no. Doesn't seem to be making a lot of difference. Hey there, Han. Goedemorgen. Good morning. Good to see you all again. Hope everybody is doing well. So Kuni was mentioning that a Cathay 747 is taxiing to the east. So that means it's going to take off from 09 most likely. Now at the moment there is no traffic coming to Polderbaan just yet. Will be interesting to see what United 71 is going to do, which is going to Newark. If it is going to take off from 09 or if it's going to taxi further to the west to come this way eventually. Hey there Janus, hey there Victor, good morning fellas. Ooh, extremely sunny and warm in Frankfurt. Well, over here it is 11 degrees centigrade and I am putting my hands in my pocket just to make sure that they stay warm a little bit. Okay, looking at the website, the app that shows the current runway usage, it says now that both 36 left and 36 center are in use for departures, as has been the case over the previous couple of days. 06 is now the only runway in use for arrivals. Great, let me also update the ticker then. So departures will be 36 left and 36 center, and arrivals will be on 06. Alrighty then. Looks like something is already taking off from center. Or was that just my imagination? Huh. Okay. Hey there studio, yeah, good morning. And Daniel says 26 to 29C the whole week in Budapest. Well, if you guys are getting too warm, you can always cool down over here in Amsterdam. It's almost the end of May, but I still am wearing my winter jacket over here. But at least the sun is sometimes out from behind the clouds before the traffic is starting to pick up. Let me show you the big picture so you guys probably know the orientation by now. This is looking to the south, and this is looking to the east, and this is looking to the north, and this would be looking to the west towards the North Sea. So this is where we should be seeing traffic taxiing to the runway arriving from. Now on flight radar it looks like United 71 to Newark is coming this way. Still has to cross 36 Center or go around it. There's also an A319 from EasyJet that seems to be doing the same. Has to go to Liverpool. Since Center is also in use right now, they probably will have to go around it. Or maybe they will shortcut it. We'll have to wait and see. Ooh, in Athens also warm, around 30 degrees, Jonas is saying. Okay, so it seems that the A319 is going to cross immediately without having to go around the northern threshold. So we'll see an EasyJet A319 outbound to Liverpool arriving first, and it looks like a 777-200 from United to Newark is going to come as second. So things are picking up a little bit. Now I am sad to see that the 747 to Hong Kong appears to be going to the threshold of 09. Well, Kuni, are we talking about the 747-800 to Hong Kong? Because it looks like it is entering the threshold of 09 if I look at flight radar. I'm afraid we're not going to see the 747 except from a distance. 3 airplanes underway over here. A319 EasyJet to Liverpool, followed by 777-200 from United to Newark, and after that an Embraer 190 KLM outbound to Trondheim. More traffic is on the move, narrow bodies mostly. Although the 787-10 Dreamliner to LAX has also become active on the platform. Still looks like it is at the gate. Will need to be pushed back first and then start taxiing over here. But things are picking up. And in fact, here are the first 3 planes. Yeah, exactly, Sadie Poos. They didn't consult me. Yeah, 747 is airborne. It is already quite difficult to see. They do take off in almost opposite direction. So you can just about make out it is a 747, but that is about it. Hey Aaron, goedemorgen. Now, our patience is going to be tested. The A319 also heading out to the runway threshold. Let's see what the other planes are going to do. While the Embraer 190 to Trondheim might take the earlier entrance to the runway. The triple is also going to be flying to the, or is going to taxi to the runway threshold. Alright, so this is EasyJet flight 23442, Airbus A319 going to Liverpool. It is a 12-year-old airplane that had its first flight in January 2011. And we're off, the first airplane of the day. Next up will be KLM flight 1173. The Embraer creeping in front of the triple. Going to Trondheim. This Embraer, 13 years old, had its first flight in June 2009. It is a lovely spot over here, isn't it, guys? So here is the first heavy of the day. It is United Airlines in the Star Alliance livery, Boeing 777-200, going to Newark. 25 years old, first flight October 1997. Hey Paul, good morning. Hope you're well, mate. Just in time for the first triple. Hey there, Bayerische Schweizer. Guten Morgen. Herzlich willkommen. Nice to see you. Welcome to Amsterdam, folks. My name is Boy. You're watching AMS Live. This is the Polderbaan, where takeoffs take place. Runway 36 left together with 36 center. Both runways in use now. Prevailing wind is blowing from the northeast. And this is KLM flight 1533 Embraer 175 going to Darlington in a few moments. This airplane is 5 years old and had its first flight in January 2018. If you tuned in just now, it is about 11 degrees Celsius over here, or 52 degrees Fahrenheit. The wind is blowing from the northeast, 14 knots or so. We had to wait a little bit for the traffic to come this way, because as I was arriving on the scene over here, they still were using the night configuration and used the runway for landings. Which was interesting because 2 times a landing was aborted because of the major tailwind if you land in opposite direction. Now, this airplane obviously not very heavily loaded. Already airborne quickly. Climbing relatively steeply. Hey, Air China Cargo 747 makes U-turn above Lelystad, Kuni says. What's its origin and what's its destination originally? A319 from EasyJet underway to London, Gatwick coming this way. Interesting that a 747 on cruising altitude would start making a U-turn. Keep us posted. Interesting developments. Okay. 11,350 feet and going lower. Well, where was it coming from and where was it supposed to go to? Surely it didn't take off from Schiphol, did it? So this is KLM flight 1143 Boeing 737-900 with destination Oslo. This airplane is 21 years old, had its first flight in the month of 9/11, September 2001. Start from Mongolia, okay. Hey Donna, good morning. Good to see you again, hope you're well. So, another EasyJet Airbus underway. This one to London Luton, A319. 17 years old. First flight April 2006. Up, and away she is. Now, for the time being, it seems that there's still one airplane. Then we'll have to wait for the next batch to arrive. There we go. Embraer 190, KLM Cityhopper flight 987. A countdown flight number. Going to London City. Short flight, already airborne. Check it out. Headwind and not too heavy. Really had to crouch to be able to follow that one. So high it was already as it passed by me. Alrighty. So that was, I think, the last of the current batch. Let's have a look. Oh, there is an A330 to Sint Maarten on the move. Very likely that it is going to come to the Polderbaan. Getting my bearings again. I think this is where we also start seeing the airplanes taxi over here. Hey there, Peter, good morning. So, oh, interesting. So, the KLM Airbus to Sint Maarten is now heading south. Does that mean it is going to depart from center, or is it just taking the detour around the southern threshold? Interesting. Meantime, A763 Bucharest just left the ground from runway center. Hey there, Phil, good morning. Good to see you again, mate. Hope you're doing well. Over here it is a bit windy. You guys can probably hear it on the stream already. If not, then you will be able to see it by the rippling of the water over here. It seems that the direction has changed a little bit. Although, looking at the smoke of the two chimneys, they seem to be almost look like they were crossing there for a moment. Definitely not a wind still day. More traffic departing from center. As we are waiting for more traffic to come to 36 left. Hey Art, goedemorgen. Good morning. Hey Samil, did I already say hi to you? So many people in the chat, I sometimes forget who I have greeted and who I haven't yet. Now, we have something moving this way, and it seems that the A330 to Sint Maarten was taking the detour around the southern tip of 36 Center, so it is also coming this way. Now the first airplane to arrive on the scene over here, you guys probably can tell already from a distance, it is Aer Lingus. It is an A320 flight 841 going back to Ireland, to Cork. This particular Airbus is 17 years old already and had its first flight in September 2005. Now, it is also taking the entrance to the runway that I was standing in line with yesterday afternoon, where you can see them arrive on the runway head on. Will it be doing a turn and burn? It is likely. Alrighty. In the meantime, I can see that more air traffic is taxiing over here. Almost like a shark fin sticking out of the water. You can see the tail of the airplane approaching. Well, current air temperature over here is about the same, Phil, about 11 degrees C. Not sure about today's highs over here. I think it was somewhat lower, 17 degrees centigrade, I think. Although, at the moment, I would be hard pressed to believe it. It is set to get warmer over here in the Netherlands over the weekend. Next couple of days we should be seeing 20 degrees Celsius again. Later during the day at least. Alright, so we have a Boeing 737-800 from KLM and it looks like it is going to the runway threshold. KLM flight 1127 outbound to Copenhagen in Denmark. This airplane is 23 years old and had its first flight in April 2000. Now, behind it is the aforementioned Airbus A330-200 that is going to take off to Sint Maarten, SXM. That one airfield we all want to go to spot airplanes. Well, everybody on board that plane are going right now, and we will be able to capture their departure in a few minutes. First up, 737 to Copenhagen from KLM. After that, Airbus A330 time. Hey Rick, goedemorgen man. Alles goed? Here we go. Hey, Martin is saying Icelandair is coming. Well, you all know what happened with Icelandair's yesterday with the 767 that was due to depart yesterday. Michael, good morning. How's life over there in Kansas? Nice of you to join us once again. Hope you're well, mate. So KLM flight 787 A330-200 outbound to Sint Maarten. 17 years old, first flight April 2006. So we're waiting for the next traffic to come to the Polderbaan, which means that we can follow the airplane a bit longer. Visibility is still good. Now, the standard instrument departure for this runway and also for a destination to the west is basically fly and climb in runway heading until you approximately reach the North Sea Canal, which is the canal connecting the North Sea to the inner lake of Markermeer, which also runs through Amsterdam. Once this airplane reaches that canal, it makes a left-hand turn, starts flying to the west. It is now climbing in northerly direction. Once it has cleared land and is over the North Sea, they typically go either more to the northwest or to the southwest, depending on where they need to be. And in the case of this airplane, I think it is going to cross over the Atlantic via one of the North Atlantic tracks and then fly to the south, although it differs. Sometimes they also fly more towards Portugal and then cross the ocean more southerly. I think that's mostly when they go to South America. Now, all those Caribbean islands are of course a bit more in the middle geographically. I think most of the airplanes that fly from Europe to those destinations use the North Atlantic tracks to cross the Atlantic. And depending on the jet stream that is blowing on that day, they get assigned one of the tracks, and And depending on the prevailing wind, that track can be more to the north or more to the south. I think the 747 has already passed. It's now behind the clouds. Just in the middle of it. Hard to see what I'm looking at. There it is. That is the quad engine 747 most likely. Already far out. Yeah, if you count the Grebe as a submarine, then we are also reporting on submarines. Now, once again, a 767-300ER from Icelandair is coming this way. First, before the 767, we'll see an Embraer 190. It is already visible in the distance. Outbound to Aberdeen, KLM flight 1443. We have a 767 inbound, 737-800. The Dreamliner to LAX is also on the move in the meantime. So that is also good news. I see that the wind is causing my laptop then to move a bit back and forth, and that in its turn makes my laptop move a bit more off the edge of the elevation I have it on, so that should have fixed it. And here we have the Embraer 190, and 767 has now turned to the left to come this way. Now the Embraer is also taking the entrance, the first entrance that is not the runway threshold, so we should be seeing it take off in a few moments. So this is KLM flight 1443, Embraer 190, 7 years old, first flight December 2015. Well, it will be interesting to see if the 767 that is coming this way is going to take off. Nice to see the windsock in the foreground, better visible when the plane is taxiing behind it. The 737-800 is going to Helsinki. Now, as expected, the heavy is going to the threshold. And the 737 is skipping ahead. So this is KLM flight 1167, Boeing 737-800 outbound to Helsinki, Finland. This airplane, 24 years old, had its first flight in April 1999. Hey Wendy, goedemorgen. Alles goed? Good to see you again. Alrighty then. Hey there Yorkshire, good morning. Good to see you again. Now, let's see if this time around the 767 is going to take to the air. Icelandair flight 503, Boeing 767-300ER, 23 years old, first flight February 2000, returning to Reykjavik if all is well. Alright then, no issues for the 767 this time round. Now yesterday, a guy named Jim Yang commented below the video of yesterday's stream that apparently one of the passengers said that they had an issue with the number one engine on the 767 that had to go back to the gate yesterday. Alrighty then, more is underway. What we are looking at is the 787-10 Dreamliner to LAX. Before it is a KLM Embraer 175. looks like the heavies are starting to go out, and it seems that rush hour for the heavies is picking up. Now the Embraer is looking to taxi. It looks like it is taxiing to the runway threshold. So this is KLM flight 1207. It is an Embraer 175. It is outbound to Kristiansand, and this airplane is 6 years old and had its first flight in September 2016. Hey there, Papa Kilo, good morning. Good to see you. Hope everybody is doing well. So this is KLM flight 601 outbound to LAX, Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner in the KLM 100 years livery. This airplane is 3 years old, had its first flight in June 2019. So yeah, Wendy, it is still around. You have to be lucky to see it. Sometimes it can be a while before you see it again, but it is still flying around, fortunately. Now we can see other airplanes coming this way. American, KLM, Embraer 190. First up will be the American Dreamliner. Hey there, Barbs, good morning. Going to Dallas Fort Worth. And the Embraer 190 behind it going to Dublin. There's another Embraer 190 from KLM coming this way. That will be leaving for Leeds. Now American is taxiing to the runway threshold. Is the Embraer following it? It looks like it. In the meantime, the second Embraer 190 to Leeds is also arriving on the scene. So the first Embraer and the Dreamliner are taxiing to the runway threshold. And it looks like the second Embraer will be doing the same. Which means that we can turn around the camera to the runway threshold, focus on the first airplane that will take off in a moment from now. This is American Airlines Flight 221, Boeing 7878 Dreamliner, outbound to Dallas, Fort Worth. This airplane is 3 years old and had its first flight in April 2020. Ah, Jean-Yves, salut! Just in time for American Airlines. Good to see you again, hope you're doing well. Look at the flex in the wings already. And here, of course, fully flexed. Beautiful. Such an elegant thing to look at. Beautiful. So next up, two Embraer 190s. The first one going to Dublin, KLM flight 945. 13 years old. This airplane had its first flight in March 2010. Now this one is going to Dublin, and on the platform area over here arrived an A320 from Aer Lingus, also going to Dublin. So two Dublin bound airplanes will be taking off almost back to back. Won't be long before the Embraer will get clearance and will be spooling up. Those small planes always have to wait a little bit after those big planes have preceded it because of the turbulence that they leave behind. Every airplane leaves turbulence behind it in its wake, which is why it's called wake turbulence. You don't want to be flying through that. So after Dublin, this one is and another Embraer 190 is already waiting to go. KLM flight 1541 going to Leeds. Another Embraer 190. This one 5 years old, had its first flight in February 2018. And no, Jean-Yves, I don't smell kerosene. I think the prevailing wind prevents it from reaching my nostrils. So even though you might think, being so close by, you would smell kerosene fumes, that is actually not the case. So next up is another airplane outbound to Dublin. This one is Aer Lingus flight 603 Airbus A320. This particular airplane is 18 years old and had its first flight in July 2004. And after that we are going to see another heavy Delta Airlines A330 outbound to Seattle. Looking to the right, to the left, I can see that there are more airplanes approaching, so things are looking to pick up nicely over here at the Polderbaan. No, Rick, you know just as well as I do that you don't smell any of the two things over here. The only thing smelly over here in this area are the Dixies, if you ever need to use them, that are located on the parking place of the Spottersplatz. Otherwise, it is actually quite doable over here in terms of smelliness. So this is Delta Airlines flight 143 Airbus A330-300 outbound to Seattle. This airplane is 6 years old, had its first flight in January 2017. Hey there, Game TV, good morning. Good to see you. How is everybody doing, by the way? So, a little Embraer, and after that, A777 to Quito. The Embraer lined up right now is going to Humberside, KLM flight 1485. It is an Embraer 175 that is 5 years old, had its first flight in February 2018. And after that, KLM 777-200 going to Quito. For those of you just tuning in, welcome to AMS Live. My name is Boy. We're standing alongside the Polderbaan, runway 36 left, currently in use for departures. The heaviest rush hour is about to begin. On your far left you can see a 777-200 that is going to go to Quito. More airplanes are coming this way. We already have a queue over there. Airplanes waiting to take off. So if you guys look at the big picture, the sun is creeping out from behind the clouds every now and then. It is still a bit chilly. It was around 11 degrees Celsius over here last time I checked. So that is approximately 52 degrees Fahrenheit. The wind is blowing from the northeast. This is KLM flight 755 outbound to Quito. 777-200. 19 years old, first flight November 2003. Hey there, Dave Smith, Alfredita Strong Oak, Peppy Pittle, good morning to you all, welcome. Hope everybody is doing well. And as we saw this 777 take off, the slew of heavies is being interrupted by a 737-800 to Porto. This is KLM flight 1711. The airplane is 22 years old and had its first flight in May 2000. After that we are going to see a Dreamliner to Minneapolis. So the wind in general is coming from the northeast. These airplanes are taking off to the north. There's a little bit of crosswind from the right for these airplanes. Now there are a couple of airplanes already queuing up behind this one. I count 6 with a Dreamliner and a triple and another Dreamliner in the queue. So we'll see a nice mix of narrow bodies and heavies in the upcoming 15 minutes or so. Hey there, Eres, good day to you. How's life over there in Tel Aviv? So here we have KLM flight 655. It is a Boeing 7879 Dreamliner on its way to Minneapolis. This airplane is 7 years old, had its first flight in January 2016. Shavuot holiday in Israel. Well, happy Shavuot day then, Erez. No time to waste over here. 777 taking off right away. 777-200 going to Lima. KLM flight 743. This airplane is 19 years old and had its first flight in December 2003. Hey Remco, goedemorgen, good morning. Now once again, not a lot of time to linger on these airplanes. The next heavy is already lining up, ready to go. So this is KLM flight 661. Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner, the biggest of the bunch, going to Houston in Texas. This airplane is 3 years old and had its first flight in May 2020. Hey there Martijn, goedemorgen. Hoe is het? Good to see you, man. So all other viewers who have meanwhile joined us, welcome to AMS Live. My name is Boy. We are watching heavies take off from the Polderbaan. 36 left. This one being a 787-10 going to Houston, Texas. Beautiful. Now if you're enjoying the stream, consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. Make sure to drop a like. Help me reach more people like you and me who are also into content like this. We are not done yet. We are getting an intermezzo again of a few narrow bodies. We are also having a A330neo to Salt Lake City and another Dreamliner to Bogota that are already up ahead, queuing up. And it seems that everything is going to depart from the threshold and not skip the line. So this Embraer 190 will be first. KLM flight 1199 going to Stavanger. This airplane is 11 years old and had its first flight in January 2012. Hey there, ALV dog. Good morning, my friend. Good to see you again. Hope you're well. Your timing is well. 2 narrow bodies, and then we will see 2 heavies once again. An A330neo and a Dreamliner. First, this Embraer 192 Stavanger. Already airborne quickly, climbing relatively steeply. It's something you can work on, ALV dog, timing. Some have it naturally and some get it as an acquired skill. You might be one of the latter. So this is EasyJet A320 flight 22162 going to Manchester. This airplane is 13 years old, had its first flight in October 2009. Sky Patrol Drone says good morning from Vancouver in Canada. I say good morning to you too. Welcome to the stream, hope you're well. Oh dear, ALV dog. Don't be too harsh on yourself. You never know what you're capable of until you try it. Well, folks, let's quickly turn around the camera for an A330neo from Delta Airlines that is going to take off to Salt Lake City. But it looks like before that will happen, we'll first see Air Baltic outbound to Tallinn, A220. Awfully quiet. The geared turbofans of the A220. Now, next up is going to be Delta Airlines Flight 57, A330-900neo, outbound to Salt Lake City. Brand new airplane according to Flight Radar, had its first flight in June 2022. Almost a year old then. Time for more heavy action. A Dreamliner this time round to Bogota in Colombia. It's pulling up as we are speaking. KLM flight 741-7879 Dreamliner to Bogota. This airplane is 7 years old already, had its first flight in October 2015. Alright, we have another intermezzo of a narrow body before we will see another heavy. Oh no, I think maybe even two this time. So we have a 737 already lined up. There's also an Embraer 175 waiting to enter the runway over here. I think both will be preceding the A330 to Detroit. Lined up and looking, what we are looking at is KLM flight 1155, Boeing 737-700. Outbound to Gothenburg. 13-year-old airplane, had its first flight in November 2009. So this is the situation I am looking at in the distance. The EasyJet, according to flight radar, lining up behind the rest of the traffic going to the runway threshold. And the 737 on the move. The baby of the bunch. Next up is another Embraer 175 going to Stavanger. This is KLM flight 1197. This airplane, 7 years old. Alright, next up, Delta Airlines flight 135 Airbus A330-300 going to Detroit. This airplane is 19 years old and had its first flight in February 2004. Hey Jorn, goedemorgen. Alles goed? Over here it is a bit windy. It's not exactly very warm. Still wearing my winter parka over here, although only with a t-shirt below under it, so not too bad. Next up, EasyJet A320 to London Luton. The airplane 10 years old, first flight August 2012. You can see that runway 06 is in use for arrivals. There is another A320 from EasyJet to Bristol in the queue. Behind it is a Dreamliner 10 to San Francisco. And your right photo, someone is indeed parked on the beginning of the runway. Cycling path, runway. Alrighty then. There is crosswind, Paul. Wind is blowing from the northeast. If you look at the chimney smoke, it is blowing towards me, so that means about 40 degrees of crosswind, I would say. Well, photo for you. Let's hope that the police is not coming then for the driver of this car. And thank you so much, Jono, who just became a member of the Aurora Sky Lounge. Thank you so much for your support there, Jono, and welcome. So it is once again time for heavies. This time a 787-10 Dreamliner. Going to San Francisco in a few moments. KLM flight 605. This airplane is brand new, had its first flight June last year, so it is almost 1 year old. And I'm glad to hear, Jono, that you are enjoying the stream. Hope everybody is enjoying the stream. If you aren't, do let me know. If there's something I can improve, do let me know. Dreamliner outbound to San Francisco. Oh, well, photo for you. The car is moving. It just passed me. Not sure if it is a police vehicle or anything undercover. It has something on its roof on the left hand side, so not sure. Or if that was just the takeaway that they put on the roof and forgot to take in. Anyway, another heavy, ready to go. Delta Airlines Flight 73, another Airbus A330-300, this one going to Atlanta, Georgia. The airplane is 15 years old, had its first flight in August 2007. Enjoy your walk, Wendy. Alrighty, it is getting a bit busier again. Looking on flight radar, we have a 737 that is over here. British Airways Neo to London Heathrow on the runway, lined up already. Lights are on. Looks like it is going to be number 1. Speedbird Flight 429 A320 Neo to London Heathrow. This airplane is 2 years old and had its first flight in October 2020. So there is a queue. An Embraer 190 from KLM also waiting as number 2 on the threshold, or just in front of it. Behind the Embraer is Delta Airlines Flight 179 going to Portland, Oregon. And on the left we have a 737 that is outbound to London Heathrow. So first this A320 Neo from British Airways also going to London Heathrow. Now the Embraer 190 is already lined up by the looks of it. Oh, and it is already on the move as well. So no doubt about which one will be the next airplane to take off. It is this Embraer 190. KLM Flight 1343 going to Billund. The airplane 13 years old, first flight March 2010. Now, another airplane to London Heathrow. This Boeing 737-800 KLM Flight 1009 will be preceding the A330 This particular 737 is 15 years old and had its first flight in February 2008. Now, if you're new to the channel and you're enjoying what you're seeing so far, consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. It allows you to turn on notifications so that whenever I go live in the future, you get notified and can join us for more action from Schiphol Airport over here. Next up is going to be Delta Airlines Flight 179, Airbus A330-300 going to Portland, Oregon. This airplane is 15 years old and had its first flight in July 2007. You're right, AOV dog. If you are doing outbound traffic in the morning, you are going to see almost as many Delta A330s as Embraer 175s from KLM. Now, in the meantime, we have the bird controller zooming from one side to the other. I think it is doing a runway inspection. Let us do a greeb inspection as well. Probably not noticing that I am filming it, otherwise it would have dove under already. So there is movement up ahead. Also an Embraer 190 arriving on the scene over here. Going to the runway threshold. KLM flight 1779. Going to Hamburg. Speaking of which, might be a good idea to make a hamburger again. So this Embraer is 7 years old, had its first flight in November 2015. Just checking to see what else is on the move. It seems like more heavies are coming this way. First of which will probably be an A330-200 to Paramaribo from SLM. So not yet the A340, but an A320 200. Meanwhile, the station wagon has just driven back to the other side of the cycling path, passing me by. Don't see anything on the roof anymore. So either the cup of coffee fell off or they packed it in already. Now you can see people in the distance, in the middle of the screen. They are standing behind the fence of the official Spottersplaats on the parking place. So people have started gathering around the regular Spottersplaats already. The Grebe is over there, and I thought I saw a few, looks like ducks. Also one further out, over there. Okay, so the birds are mostly further out. In the meantime, we can see the A332 Paramaribo. SLM, which looks eerily a lot like the KLM. They really were lazy in fixing that livery. It is just basically a KLM airplane, but they only stripped the KLM logo off of it. And ALV Dog, I do believe that there are a lot of people over here that are they really have strong opinions about putting pineapple on pizza. Now, I'm not one of them. I think people should do what they like. But beetroot into hamburgers is something I haven't heard about. I do know that you have vegetarian substitutes that are made of beets. Not sure how they taste. Putting pineapple into hamburgers is also new. I know of the discussion of pineapple, yes or no, when it comes to pizza. Luca has to go already. I think discussing pineapple over food was the tipping point for him. Yeah, Aphrodite, we are going from breakfast immediately to lunch and dinner. Talking about pineapple in pizza. Ede Merinha Mello, good day to you, bom dia. An early riser, 6 a.m. still over there. SLM Air Hub Airlines to Paramaribo, flight 993. One of the laziest jobs of fixing a livery from KLM, making it a little bit different. This one going to Paramaribo, Airbus A330-200. The airplane is 12 years old, had its first flight in September 2010. Okay, so Michael Jackson has seen pineapple on hamburgers. I'm wondering if it would taste good. I mean, if you are talking about a hamburger with lettuce, with sauce, with onions on a bun and cheese, yeah, sure, I think it might work. Might be something worth trying out again. Sometime. Hey Lance, good morning. Lucas, good morning. So next up is going to be Ryanair Boeing 737-800 off to Dublin. It's like the 4th or 5th airplane now that we've seen since being in the air. Going to Dublin. Yeah, Rick, I have tried them and they're not too bad. I think they do contain a lot of fat, but they are quite tasty actually. I have to say that the quality of vegetarian burgers and other substitutes has improved dramatically over the last couple of years. Okay, well, not sure what is going on. Bird controller seems to be in a hurry. It seems that the Ryanair is holding short for whatever the bird controller is going to. Not sure. Well, it seems to be returning already. Or is it just firing off some fireworks over there? Ooh! The door is opening. Yeah, and the Ryanair is holding short still. Could there be some debris on the runway? Hard for me to see if the vehicle was on the runway or not. Possibly was. Maybe there was some debris on the runway. So the Ryanair is still holding short. And I'm pretty sure that this is no longer on the runway now. In the meantime, I see that we also have some coots. Even a second one over here. Okay, Ryanair is on the move. took a little while. So Ryanair flight 421 outbound to Dublin. This airplane, 13 years old, had its first flight in February 2010. Now in the meantime, things are starting to get a bit more busy over there at the other side of the Polderbaan. A few more heavies. Let's have a look. So there is an A330 taxiing to the runway threshold. EasyJet behind it. And this is, let me zoom in a little, also an A330 to JFK. Embraer. Again, a nice mix between heavies and narrow bodies. So this is Delta Airlines flight 161, Airbus A330-300 outbound to Minneapolis. She's 15 years old and had its first flight in July 2007. Always exciting to see whether or not the landing gear is retracting, but after a few moments it did begin to go up. So let's have a look and see what will be departing next. We have already EasyJet on the threshold lined up. And it doesn't seem that the Embraer will be taxiing onto the runway yet. Seems to be standing still. So I am betting on the EasyJet then to be the first to depart. Good question there, Rick. Let me quickly glance at the app that shows current runway usage. It says that 36 left and center are both still open, but the app is always delayed a little bit and not always entirely accurate. So looking just around, I don't see any activity for center, which is good news, of course, meaning that all outbound traffic will be departing from this runway. Next up is going to be an Embraer 195 from SAS. It is already moving, actually, going to Copenhagen. SAS flight 552, Embraer 195, 15 years old, first flight January 2008. Nice to see an Embraer for a change. Although the CRJs are also lovely. And actually less prevalent than Embraers over here at Schiphol. Hello there, Pierre, and bye for now, Somil. Now again, no time to waste. The next airplane is already moving. It is Delta Airlines Flight 47, Airbus A330-300, outbound to New York JFK. This particular airplane is 6 years old and had its first flight in June 2016. Alright, well, nice that the A350 is on the move. Hopefully 36 Center will stay closed, otherwise we can only see it from a distance. So this is American Airlines Flight 203. It is a Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner going to Philadelphia. That is 7 years old and had its first flight in December 2015. Hey Betty, good afternoon, or good morning. Morning is it still? I was thinking it might have been past 12 already, but it is still morning. Good morning, Betty. Good to see you again. Hope you're doing well. Now if you just tuned in, welcome to AMS Live. My name is Boy. We're standing next to the Polderbaan, runway 36 left for departures. The sun is starting to shine more and more. The wind, as you guys can probably tell, is blowing. It is not full-blown storm, but it is a bit windy, definitely. The smoke up ahead blows towards us. I'm now at a 45-40 degree angle versus the runway, which is parallel to this water, this canal. Pilots take off to the north. Wind is blowing from the northeast. There is a little bit of crosswind. As you guys can see, it is otherwise sunny. As I was starting with the stream this morning, it was around 11 degrees Celsius. I think it might have warmed up a little bit. Maybe towards 15 degrees Celsius, so that would approximate 60 degrees Fahrenheit. At the moment, in the distance, lined up is KLM flight 1855. It is an Embraer 175 going to go to Düsseldorf, and it is moving. The airplane we're seeing is 5 years old, had its first flight in November 2017. Alright then, good news. Rick Meester says that Singapore A350 is also showing on flight radar. It is rush hour for outbound heavies. Now at the moment, Air Europa to Madrid, Boeing 737-800 is on the go. It is a 6-year-old airplane, had its first flight in July 2016. Now before the next batch of heavies will be taking off, there are a few narrow bodies. We have an EasyJet that is not yet going to skip ahead. This airplane will go first, which is KLM flight 1109. It is a Boeing 737-800 that is going to Stockholm. The airplane is 12 years old. First flight November 2010. Now two A320 Neos lined up. First one from EasyJet, the second one from SAS. This EasyJet A320 Neo in the Neo livery is on its way to Split. It is a brand new airplane that had its first flight last December, so it is still under warranty, so to speak. Now, and as Rick is saying that the Singapore A350 is on its way, we are first going to see the departure of a blurry and hopefully now a bit less blurry A320 Neo from SAS going to Oslo, operated by SAS Connect, flight 822. This airplane is a bit older than the previous one. This one is 1 year old and had its first flight in April last year. Hey there George, goedemorgen, good morning. So it is A350 time. China Airlines to Taipei, arriving on the scene. There we go. So China Airlines Flight 74 Airbus A350-900, 5 years old, first flight December 2017. Just a wonderful silhouette. I really wish that they would, from now on all new airplane types, use curved winglets. It looks so much more elegant than those hard angles. It's just a minor detail, but it makes all the difference in my opinion. Hey Zampon, good morning. Just in time to see the first A350 of the stream. China Airlines to Taipei, Flight 74. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful machine. Beautiful sound. Now, nothing on this side of the platform just yet. Let's have a look on flight radar. It seems that there is a second A350 moving in this direction. The Singapore Airlines A350 is on the move. I do see two other airplanes that also are very likely candidates to come this way. United Airlines Flight 21 to Houston, Texas, 777-200. United Airlines 908 to Chicago O'Hare, that is a Dreamliner. I think they are still either at the gate or just have been pushed back. Now the Singapore Airlines A350 is already taxiing this way slowly but surely. Great moment for me to catch up on a bit of hydration. And as we are waiting for the Singapore Airlines A350 to come this way, let me also show you on the other side of the cycling path we have a lovely field of wheat Beautiful to see the wind waving in the wheat field. There's a couple of tractors in the distance. Don't know if they are already going to start harvesting. Now, I did see the first season of Clarkson's farm, so I know that harvesting uses different machines than just a tractor. But it is lovely to see. Hope I'm able to capture it on footage properly. The wind over the corn or over the wheat field makes for lovely waves, wheat waves. Now, different crop over here in the foreground. Wheat is in the distance. What is up close over here, I don't know. Definitely a different crop. Now they are doing something over there, but what it is, I don't know. I can also see on Flight Radar that the TUI has just become active. And the Singapore Airlines A350 is about to cross 36 center. So let me turn around the camera, focus on that a little bit. I think we should be able to see it appear from behind that shed or whatever it is. It has just crossed runway 36 center. And there she is, Singapore Airlines A350-900 outbound to Singapore. Now the TUI Dreamliner seems to be on the move already. We should be able to see it pretty soon. So the A350 from Singapore Airlines will be coming this way. I think Kyle, your dad is going to be in the airplane we're about to see next. The Dreamliner from TUI to Curaçao. will also cross 36 center in a moment and will also appear from behind the shed just left of center. And the two United airplanes are also coming this way. 777-200 to Houston, Dreamliner to Chicago O'Hare. So that makes 4 heavies underway right now. Hey there, Cathay spotter, just in time. Singapore Airlines A350 on the move has arrived on the scene over here. Oh no, it is a bit further out already. There we go. She is still taxiing to the runway threshold. And pretty soon we will see, there it is, the TUI Dreamliner to Curaçao. So probably Kyle, your father, is on board that airplane. Now there's also an E2 Embraer 195 coming this way. Let us go ahead back to this side of the platform area. The magnificent A350 from Singapore Airlines, arguably the prettiest airplane out there at the moment, in the most beautiful livery out there. Flight 323 outbound to Singapore. This Airbus is 6 years old and had its first flight in May 2017. Now, if you are enjoying this stream and you haven't done so already, consider subscribing to the channel. It greatly helps me to reach more people like you and me, and it also helps you to turn on notifications and make sure that whenever I go live you get a notification. Next up, Dreamliner from TUI to Curaçao. It is TUI flight 379, Boeing 7878, Dreamliner, the smallest of the bunch, going to Willemstad in Curaçao, or on Curaçao I should say. Now this particular airplane is 8 years old already. Had its first flight in January 2015. So Kyle, is your dad sitting next to a window, and is he sitting on the left hand side? In that case, we might be able to see him wave if he would do that. Nice place, horrid drink. Cannot even recall ever having drunk blue Curacao. Just the color of the drink alone sets you off. puts you off. Oh, no clue, Kyle. Well, hopefully he will be sitting next to a window and we might be able to see him wave. So Kyle, your dad is airborne safely and they're on their way to the Caribbean. Bye bye Kyle's dad, enjoy your stay over in Bonaire. Now, before we'll get to see more heavies, we'll first start with the first E2 Embraer 195 of the stream. We haven't seen them. They aren't flying that many. They aren't flying that much anymore these days. This is KLM flight 1583 E2 Embraer 195 going to Bologna in Italia. The airplane is 1 year old, had its first flight in March 2022. It was indeed a Belgian Dreamliner that we saw just now. Really lovely, quiet too. Those geared turbo fans, the A220 as well. Well, let's see. Looks like we have a line cutter. KLM flight 1975 Boeing 737-800 to Budapest. This airplane is 22 years old, had its first flight in August 2000. Right, no time to waste. Lined up at the threshold, United Flight 21. 777-200 in the Star Alliance livery, going to Houston in Texas. The airplane is 21 years old and had its first flight in December 2001. Yeah, they do look ludicrous, don't they? The GE90s. They sound ludicrous as well. Now, in the comparison, GE90 versus GENX, this is United Airlines Flight 908, Boeing 7878 Dreamliner going to Chicago O'Hare, this one. The airplane is 9 years old, first flight February 2014. Nice to compare the bigger GE90s versus the somewhat smaller GENX engines. Now, just checking if I see any reason why the Dreamliner is holding short still. I don't see any yellow vehicles on the runway. There is a vehicle further out. Okay, interesting. Well, in the meantime, the bird controller is over here as well. And Dreamliner is still holding short, so again, debris or something. Interesting. Alright, well, apparently there was something on the runway. It sure seems like that. And by the looks of it, the runway has been cleared again. Okay, 4 vehicle just passed me by back to the other side where the airplanes are at, so Alright, well, will the Dreamliner take off now then? Yep, it is moving. Alright. Alright, gear up. Alright, well, another mix between narrow body and wide body. First up is an Airbus A319 that is from EasyJet and will be going to London. No, sorry, British Airways, I'm sorry, Speedbird. Flight 431 to London Heathrow, Airbus A319. 22 years old, first flight November 2000, and it is going to be followed by another Delta Airline A330, this time to Boston. And Aphrodite is asking a very good question. How do they check if the runway is safe and clear? Well, the bird controllers first of all do visual inspections and are constantly driving around the runway, over the runway, next to the runway to make sure no birds or foreign objects, if they do spot them, remain on the runway or nearby. Now, pilots themselves also report back to ATC if they see things that need action. Obviously, every few minutes the pilots that take off from a runway can do a visual inspection, and if they do see something lying on the runway or next to the runway, they will report back to ATC, who will then instruct the bird controllers or whatever vehicle might be nearest by to have a look and get rid of the debris. Yeah, it was probably old mate's coffee cup. You're right, ALV dog, you solved the puzzle. I think that was it. Was a little bit peculiar seeing it on the roof first and then no longer. Hey there Elske, goeiemorgen, middag, just about morning still. Yeah, I am a bit earlier today. I think my timing yesterday was very poor. I suppose a lot of other live streamers were also busy. Did not have such low viewing numbers yesterday as I have had since I had 80 subscribers back around Christmas. So I figured let's go out in the morning again today. Always nice to see the morning rush hour from the Polderbaan when they are departing. So yeah, Elske, you are indeed able to see more than just the last plane today. Although we haven't seen any queens yet, so I have to say that would be nice too. The icing on the cake for today. We have seen 2 A350s already, and pretty ones at that. Now A330s almost as much as Embraer 175s. Now, time for a few narrow bodies once again. Lined up in the distance is Speedbird Flight 437, Airbus A319 outbound to London Heathrow, 21-year-old vehicle, first flight August 2001. Now more airplanes are arriving on the scene. In the background, 737-900 from KLM outbound to Manchester. Further out, an Embraer 190 outbound to Aberdeen, also KLM, as you guys can see. And she's gone. Right, so next up is KLM flight 1073, Boeing 737-900 outbound to Manchester. This airplane, 19 years old, first flight April 2004. Hey Mats, good morning or afternoon or evening. Hello there, my friend. Good to see you again. Hope you're doing well. Alrighty then. Next up, Embraer 190 to Aberdeen, KLM flight 1445. So Embraer 190 going to Aberdeen. This is a 9-year-old vehicle. Had its first flight in November 2013. I think you might be right there, Lance. It seems that every time over the last month or so. When I'm doing a stream, other streams are also busy. I've noticed a rather sudden drop in viewing numbers over the last month or so, despite the fact that I think I have actually improved the audio quality and also the following since I have the new tripod. I think it's getting more busy with other live streams as well. International competition for views. Seems that every time you go out, there are already a couple of other live streams busy. And in the meantime, we can see that center is also being used again for departures. A330. Is that Turkish? Hard for me to see on my little screen with the backlight as well. I do believe it is Turkish. Right, let's have a look. We are waiting for another Airbus A220 or Bombardier C series, hence BCS if you look on flight radar. Where is it? Probably already behind the... Yeah, there it is. It is already further up. All right, SAS. SAS. But it is Air Baltic. Interesting. I already was wondering, it said SAS here, but I thought, hey, it looks a lot like an Air Baltic. So Air Baltic is the rental for SAS, because the moniker says SAS, SK Flight 556. It is going to Stockholm, not to one of the Baltic states. Did they lend out one of their A220s to SAS then? Anyway, this airplane will be taking off to Stockholm in a few minutes. It is a Bombardier C Series 300 or Airbus A220-300 as they are called officially these days. The airplane, 1 year old, had its first flight in August 2021. And she's on the move. I have to say, together with the A350, the A220 is definitely one of my favorite modern day passenger airplanes. Lovely sound, lovely silhouette. Alright then. What is up next? Looks like an Airbus A320neo from EasyJet. And thank you so much ALV Dog for a Shiba dog shaking his body from left to right, surrounded by red hearts. And thank you for your compliment, RL. Man, your English pronunciation is so bad. You really talk with an accent. I really have to laugh about that. Thank you so much for your comment. I do my best. Let me see if I can make my pronunciation even worse for you, so you can enjoy it even more. Next up is EasyJet A320neo going to London Stansted. She's taking the early entrance, 4 years old. First flight was in June 2018. I am missing the CRJ that you were referring to, Michael. I don't have it on flight radar. I'm not seeing it as well. I'm not seeing it either. So, A320neo outbound to London Stansted. In the meantime, the sun is starting to come out even more and more. If I show you guys the big picture, where we had some clouds earlier, they are almost fully gone now. This is to the west. This is to the north. This is to the east. Looks like a bit more clouds over to the southwest, southeast. Now, as we are waiting for new traffic to arrive, let's see if we can zoom in a little on a contrail that is coming towards us. Not sure how much more the tripod can elevate the camera, but yeah, it will become a bit difficult if it moves directly through the zenith. This is something I will have to look back at home, because on my little camera screen I can only see the contrails forming, but I don't see the airplane itself. So what type it is, I don't know. The only thing I can see is, or derive, is that it is a twin engine. Now, it's also very near the sun, as you guys can see. Maybe not the best contrail to follow. Alright, so there is a third A350 coming this way from Finnair back to Helsinki. It is now taxiing north on the left side of 36 Center. Yeah, it was Icarus Air that we saw just now. Now center is also back in use again. Croatia Airlines. Oh, I'm not looking in the camera, my self photo for you. I have my swiveling camera screen, so as the camera points up, I am looking down on my screen. So no need to be worried about looking into the sun directly. There are a few contrails, but they are twin engines. Maybe I can have a look at the airplane now that it has crossed to the other side and is moving away from me. Let's see, where is it? It is a bit like finding a needle in a haystack. You have to have good focus first of all. Now I am able to make out the airplane, but still it is so far out already, hard to see the details. Hey there, Miguel, checking in from Barcelona. Good day to you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Hopefully it is sunny over there in Barcelona as well as it is over here. Photo for you says Cathay 747 landing now. Where is it? Is it? Let me see. Filter on both inbound and outbound. Okay, flying in the vicinity of New Vennep. So I should be able to see it in a moment. Right, let's focus on the approaching 747-800 for 06. Okay, Paul, was nice of you to join us. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hopefully we'll see each other again soon. Mario Seibt, good day to you too. Hope you're doing well. As we are waiting for Finnair A350 to come this way, and it is now taxiing behind the runway, the control tower of the Polderbaan. We should be able to see Cathay Pacific 747-800 arriving from Dubai, ready to land on runway 06. We should be able to see it appear in a few moments from the right hand side. And the 747 we're about to see, Cathay Pacific Cargo Flight 3165, is a Boeing 747-800 arriving from Dubai after a 6 hour and 21 minute flight. This airplane is 11 years old, had its first flight in November 2011. So this is the most I can zoom in with optical zoom. I have digital zoom disabled. Now, unfortunately, it will vanish behind the trees. We will be able to see it momentarily. It is still over there. You should be able to see it in the back, in the distance. You saw the tail just now, only just about. Right, let me zoom in again and focus on what is over here. So, Third A350 of the stream, another A350-900 Finnair going back to Helsinki, flight 1302. This is a 5-year-old vehicle that had its first flight in June 2017. As you guys can hear, the wind is not subsiding just yet. It has been remarkably windy for the relatively sunny weather that we've been having so far. We are still under the influence of high pressure, so you would think that the wind would lie down, but the last couple of days have been quite windy actually. Okay, well, photo for you. It's been a pleasure to have you back on the stream again. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will undoubtedly see you again in one of the upcoming streams. Take care, my friend. Thanks for joining once again. So next up, Delta Airlines Flight 49. It is another Neo, outbound to New York JFK. On the move already. She is 1 year old, had its first flight in February 2022. Yeah, let me update that meter in a moment, Michael. I keep forgetting that. Although I think that the wind has not lied down or increased since I began streaming, and the meter is from back then. So I think it is still mostly appropriate in terms of the wind speed. But let me check in a moment. This wonderful Neo has fully retracted its landing gear. I didn't know we had a bet on ALV dog. But thank you so much, my friend. Really, that is unnecessary, but... And next time, let me know if we are having a bet about something. Or am I just in dire need of coffee, because I honestly don't recall that we had a bet going on just now. Alright, so it seems that the wind has increased a little bit. There we go, updated the meter. Quickly back to the camera controls then. KLM flight 927, Embraer 190 outbound to Inverness in Scotland. The airplane is 13 years old. This airplane had its first flight in January 2010. Thanks for the kind words there, W. I squeezed another stream. The third screen at work. So what do you have going on the other two? So we have a few more heavies that are going to take off in a few minutes. Lining up at the moment is KLM flight 635. It is a Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner outbound to Las Vegas or Las Vegas. The Dreamliner is 7 years old, had its first flight in March 2016. Three screens, two of which show live streams, probably there, Yorkshire. Something with IT. Hey Wilma, toch nog even. Nice, good to see you, hope you're well. You are in time to see a few heavies. We just saw a Dreamliner outbound to Las Vegas. Next up will be KLM flight 691, Boeing 777-200 outbound to Toronto in Canada. This is an 18-year-old airplane already, a 200ER. Had its first flight in January 2005. And we do have an SAS CRJ on the scene there. So Michael, in a few moments your favorite airplane will also be taking off. It looks like it's queuing up behind the rest and everything looks like taking off from the runway threshold. So no cutting in line here. Lovely, lovely, lovely GE90 growl. Never gets old. Never gets old. Now, small airplane time. Yeah, the CRJ is number 4, including this one. This is KLM flight 935, Embraer 190 in the Sky Team livery on its way to Dublin, Ireland. The airplane is 11 years old, had its first flight in April 2012. Alright, it is on the move. Alrighty, SAS CRJ number 3. First up, an Embraer that is in a hurry. Really no time to linger on the airplanes once they have left the ground. Back in the distance, the next one is already lined up. It is KLM flight 1281, Boeing 737-800, outbound to Edinburgh. She's relatively old, 24. Had its first flight in January 1999. Alrighty then, here is the CRJ SAS outbound to Copenhagen, flight 1548. SAS CRJ 900, long range, 5 years old, first flight November 2017. So that one was for you, Michael. Now you be on your way. We'll meet again soon. Thanks for joining us, Michael. Alrighty then. Next up, another Air Baltic. Now unfortunately it looks like a standard livery. I was hoping to see the Estonian flag up close still. Did already see the Latvian flag, the red one with the red stripes, not too long ago. And the Estonian flag did come to Schiphol last Sunday, but it was landing on 18 center or 18 right, I think it was. and I was standing next to 06. So this is Air Baltic flight 618. It is another Bombardier C series or Airbus A320 as they're called these days, outbound to Riga. The airplane is 6 years old, had its first flight in November 2016. Alright then, let's have a look. On this side the platform is empty. Looking in the distance towards the main platform area, and also having a look on flight radar, we seem to be in a bit of a lull. All right, well, ALV Dog, thank you so much for joining us again. Have a nice evening. We'll meet again soon, mate. And take care for now. Let me just have a look and see what the A330 to Mumbai is going to do. I am thinking about wrapping it up, but if the A330 is going to come this way, I might stick around for that. I think it might be going from center. Thank you for your compliment there, Amy. I do my best. A Telecaster. I had never considered myself to be a Telecaster. It does have a nice ring to it. Alright, well, the Mumbai bound A330 has taken a left-hand turn, is now moving to the south. .737 taking off from center. Outbound to Barcelona. No, Prague. Now the A330 is next to the runway threshold of center, more or less. So we'll see soon enough if it is going to take off from center or will go around the southern threshold to come this way. And thank you, Miguel, for your kind big boy, take a little coffee. I will definitely do that after I'm done with the stream. Could definitely go for a cup of coffee. But thank you so much, Miguel, really appreciate it. Now KLM flight 877, it looks like it is taking the exit, or I should say the entrance to the runway threshold of center. In the meantime, there is an Embraer 190 coming to the Polderbaan. I am going to wrap it up after the A330 has taken off from center. That is going to be the last plane I will be following for today. I think for the upcoming weekend we have good weather forecasted, so I'm looking to go out again tomorrow and on Sunday probably too. Not sure yet if I'm going out in the morning or in the afternoon. I think I might stick with mornings. The Lithuanian and Estonian flag liveries of Air Baltic do fly to Amsterdam regularly, Rick. That is the upside of the whole situation. You do see them very regularly. Not as often as the chocolate cake Leicester Embraer 190 from German Airways. That is about the most frequent flyer you can get over here on Schiphol Airport, but Air Baltic special liveries do revisit Amsterdam on a quite regular basis. Absolutely right about that, Joseph. So I am off to the bakeries then to get me a nice bit of cake and also a nice bit of coffee to join with that. I don't know yet, Han, about which runway I will be going to, but I have been going to the Polderbaan now for 2 or 3 times in a row. So I'm thinking maybe go to the Kaagbaan tomorrow, which is probably still in use for arrivals. It is Saturday tomorrow, so hopefully parking will not be too hard. I will let you guys know as soon as I know. For now, thanks to each and every one of you who joined me again for a wonderful stream. Thanks to all the people who were so kind to donate memberships or super stickers or super chats. Thank you so much, all of you. I hope to see you again during one of the next upcoming streams. For now, I want to wish each and every one of you a very pleasant Friday and be safe. Talk to you all soon. Bye for now.